let's dive into a 1-year update after daily use of my MOFT tripod. Weir and K May Zen Indiana asked the question, how is it still going? Well, in short, I absolutely still love the stand. I'm using it on a daily basis. The thing is absolutely amazing, and I don't really want to use my phone without it, to be honest. That's the reality of it. I literally miss it if it's not attached to my phone. So I think that speaks for itself. Is the magnet still strong? In short, yes, it really is strong. I'll bring some footage up of my testing as we speak. The magnet is definitely still strong, still holds the phone. I've got no concerns about the magnet. In fact, my wife's tripod is functioning exactly the same way. The magnet is still fine on her tripod too. Have I noticed any wobble or looseness? No, I have not. The stand still holds really well. Of course, if you bang a table or a desk, there is some wobble, which one of you guys asked over the last year in the comment section of my last video. So yes, there is a little bit of wobble if you're writing or if you're sort of loosely banging on the table, but generally speaking, as long as you keep the table still and your surroundings still, there isn't any major concern with this at all. So it's not a big deal, and it hasn't been an issue, to be honest. I'm still using it on a daily basis. Would I buy it again? Yes, definitely. I would buy this tripod again. In fact, I've got plans to get the wallet version of the tripod. There wasn't a wallet version, but MOFT have now created a wallet version of this. It's £10 more on Amazon than the original tripod stand, but in my opinion that's probably worth it. Even if you're going to keep one loyalty card in there, I still think it's worth it. I've noticed no real wear and tear with the general use of the tripod. The only one thing that I have noticed is there's fraying around these edges where the leather, it has frayed. That's the only sort of real discrepancy with the thing, but that's probably largely because I use it on a daily basis. I'm constantly rubbing my fingers, you know, as I sort of pick up my phone and stuff. I'm putting my fingers on it quite regularly, so naturally I think that's, you know, reasonable wear and tear after a year of use. It probably happened, started to notice some fraying around the 9-month sort of mark a few months ago. But before then there was no fraying. It was only around 9 months I noticed that there was some fraying to the edges, and that's really the only wear and tear of the whole thing that I've noticed. Music asked a question about the weight. Now I have to confess, I did actually get the weight wrong on my old video, on my original video. So if you've watched that video, ignore those weights. I put a decimal point in the wrong place, so apologies. If you're desperate for those weights, drop me a comment below and I will put the weights in the comment section below of this video if you're desperate for those weights. But to be honest, a lot of those weights I put down, I compared them to like things like a deck of cards and things, and to be honest, it did feel a bit like a deck of cards, so I can see where I went wrong, but the technical sort of the decimal point was in the wrong place, so apologies. I did get the weights wrong in that original video, but equally I didn't want to take the whole thing down because it had already generated a lot of traction by the time that person asked me, so I'm going to leave it up there, and apologies that those weights are wrong, but hopefully you'll see this video anyway, so it's fine. Raiden Yusfa asked, can it get dirty easily? I haven't noticed any particular like magnetism to dirt, so to speak, other than the general sort of, you know, if you put it down on a sticky table or something, naturally it's going to get sticky. I haven't noticed it's particularly sort of a dirt magnet or anything, or a dust magnet. Even if it does get sticky or dirty, you can just get a wipe, a cloth or a baby wipe or a wet wipe or whatever you call it, and wash, you know, wipe it down, and everything sort of carries on as normal, and there's no concern. There's no real bobbling to the leather either, the fake leather. It's all still looking very tight and sharp, other than that fraying around the edges. Milkerus, apologies if I'm getting these usernames wrong. Some of these are crazy usernames, by the way. My name is just John Dean, but yeah, some of you guys have got some crazy usernames. So they asked, can it stick to metal? Can you vlog on the move? So can you pin it to a fridge door? The short answer is no. You can't trust it on metal. It's not going to hold the weight of your phone and the tripod against your fridge door or even a radiator. I have tested it as per this test. Even I did it without a phone, and that didn't even hold the weight of the tripod itself, so it's definitely not going to hold your phone. I do have an alternative product from Belkin which I use in the gym, so I'll put that up on screen now. Really good product, and yeah, highly recommend that. I stick it to gym equipment and it holds the phone really easily, but unfortunately this tripod is not going to serve that purpose. Next one, AAAAA QC90T asked, can the tripod hold the phone horizontally so it can do top-down photos? Yes, it can. It does it very smoothly. You definitely need to hold it underneath. If you're going to need to extend it properly, and you're going to hold it underneath there in order for it to do this motion. Either put some, you know, like keys under it, I would recommend, just to sort of counterbalance it a bit so it's going to hold it. But yes, it does do top down stuff. Bear in mind though, if you've got an old phone and it hasn't got sort of the 0.5mm macro sort of lens associated with it, it's not going to do a good job. But if you do have a wide angle lens on your phone, like you've got a pro model phone from the last few years, etc., or even a normal model, I think has wide angle lens, it will capture it. But if you don't have that wide angle lens, there's probably no point even trying. Next one, Tech B4491, thanks for your comment and thanks for watching everyone, by the way, really appreciate it. Asked, what about this versus the MagSafe wallet? There are sort of options on Amazon, so you can get an ESR, I believe, MagSafe wallet that sort of holds cards, and it's a sort of has a basic fold, so basically it does that type of thing. But I doubt the hinge would move as well as this one does. It wouldn't hold as well. You probably get two settings, hinge settings, if that makes sense. So you've got to bear that in mind. You probably wouldn't have the flexibility in terms of angle viewing that that you would have on this. And of course, you've got the beautiful sort of two height levels. Basically, you've got multiple sort of options there, whereas a normal sort of 90-degree sort of folding wallet thing from ESR or brands like that isn't going to give you the flexibility that you probably want whilst you're watching stuff on your desk as you work and stuff like that, which I think was what they wanted to do. Ycarus7464, again a crazy username, asked, can it fit the iPhone 13 mini? Now unfortunately I have no access to an iPhone 13 mini, but I did ask ChatGPT and ChatGPT thinks it probably would. My suggestion would be to just email MOFT and definitely clarify that one. Unfortunately I didn't get round to doing that, but worth a try. I'm not sure if they list the minis on their website. If you go to moft.us, it's probably worth sort of emailing them if you're really concerned about using it on a mini. My concern would be that this, you can see here, I've just got a 15 Pro, not a Max, and it is going right up to the sort of the ledge. Now I've got a case on here from ESR. I've actually got like a stand in here as well, but it is going up to the sort of the camera bumps almost. Does the stand wobble when writing? Yes, it does. I've in this test, as I'll bring up on the screen, you can see me banging the table lightly and hard. Even the light banging, I noticed there was a wobble. RNCLSLR asked, would an iPhone 14 Pro Max be too heavy? Again, I don't have access to an iPhone 14 Pro Max, unfortunately, but having done some research and gone on MOFT's website, I noticed that they are listing the 14 Pro Max as a compatible device, and also they're selling a 14 Pro Max case alongside the tripod. So I assume they wouldn't sell a case alongside the tripod if it wasn't compatible, so I'm sure you should be fine on any sort of Pro Max or Max model. Kitty Corn 6674 asks, can you get the phone fully vertical when it's in tripod mode? The answer there is simple, yes you can. It goes fully vertical as per this B-roll, even after a year of use. OK-LU8GX asks, can a power bank charge the phone when the tripod is extended? The answer is no. I did test that as per this B-roll. I can confirm that no, the power bank does not charge through the tripod directly onto the phone. So that's definitely not an option, unfortunately. I'm not sure if ever it would be possible, to be honest. Probably best to just take the tripod off if you need to use it. By the way, on that note, I do have this quite good power bank, which is just a cheap third-party Amazon one, which has actually got a kickstand, so you can fold it open, and then I would suggest just take the tripod off the phone and use this. Got the case on, lock it to the back, and then you've got a kickstand there as well. Nice magnetic sort of folding kickstand. This was actually really cheap, I think. Yeah, recommend that. It was yeah, it's a good one. It's got even a little display telling you how much percentage you've got left. So, is the Hinge still working? The big question on everyone's lips. It definitely is. As you can see here, it is, and in my testing on the B-roll that I've got, you can see that it's holding the phone really well still. So definitely working. Now, I did notice a slight loosening of the hinge when I was doing some testing, but in my day-to-day use, I haven't actually noticed any loosening. Particularly when I was holding it, I did notice, it's not doing it now actually, but there was a bit of a loosening at this sort of point. I noticed there was a bit of a loosening, but still the hinge feels very, very strong. Highly recommend it, and that's after a year of daily use. I don't think I've missed a day of using this tripod. So I would highly recommend this tripod. The quality still feels really good. Other than a little bit of fraying around the edges, this tripod is still the bee's knees, and I still think it's absolutely incredible. I use it to, you know, prop my phone up all the time, and ultimately it's turned a few heads as well, because people struggle with, you know, propping their phone up all the time. So I've had some questions, people come up to me and ask me about it, and I still highly recommend it even after a year of usage. Well, I hope this video has been useful. Hope it's answered any of your questions. If I have missed any questions, please do drop a comment below. I do my best to reply to every question that I'm asked on every video. So I'm still not sponsored by MOFT, by the way, completely unsponsored. I'm only at 365 subscribers or so at the moment. So MOFT aren't particularly interested in me. So yeah, if you do have any questions, please do ask. You guys are amazing. Keep making videos. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now. Oh, by the way, I've noticed that they've got a ton more colours than they did have when I originally bought it a year ago. You've got red, you've got purple, you've got green, blue, things like that. So loads of colours on the website. Is it true that there's a chance it could be all mine? Just the thought itself that makes me anxious. Really well worth it.